Well, hey kids, I hope you're enjoying our walk through the Bible together. I hope you enjoyed last week making your Jacob's ladder. And this week we're going to learn something more about Jacob, about him wrestling with God. But we're also going to learn that when we try to do things in our own strength, we don't get anywhere. But when we do it in God's strength, we can do anything. And so we put this song together just for you. And we hope you sing along and follow Miss Karen in her hand motions. 2, 3, 4. Well, hey, boys and girls. I hope you had a good week. I hope you have enjoyed our walk through the Bible as we're learning about Jacob. And I hope you had a chance to build your Jacob's ladder last week. I hope you enjoyed doing that. We're going to continue talking about Jacob this week, again, in your Bibles. Hopefully you've read ahead, and we're right in here talking about Jacob. And again, before we get started, if you do not have a Bible, have your loved ones, have anybody that you know go to our Anchored in Hope website. Give me your name and your address, and I'll send you one free of charge. So, as we talked about Jacob, as you will read, and I want you all to be reading through your Bibles, as you're reading page 26 and 27 in your Bibles, you'll learn that Jacob gets married, and Jacob's uncle Laban kind of tricks him and does some things. But what I want to talk about today is God wrestling with Jacob. Yes, they wrestled. Now, how many of you boys and girls wrestle? Maybe you wrestle with your brother or your sister or one of your friends. When I was in high school, I was on the wrestling team. Wrestling is hard work. It's tough. But yes, in the Bible we read where Jacob wrestled with an angel of God. And throughout that whole time, they wrestled all night long. And finally, Jacob was told by God's angel to go home. Go. And he went with a limp for the rest of his life, where God's angel touched his hip and gave him a permanent limp. How often do we feel sometimes like we wrestle with God? We wrestle with what we know we need to do. And sometimes we feel like we just don't want to do it. Maybe it's something as simple as reading your Bibles or praying or doing something that we know we should do, and it just feels like it's hard work and we can't do it. That's because you're doing it in your own strength. You're not doing it in God's strength. God gives us his strength. And to kind of show that, I have some ice here. In my bowl is some ice. Now, what I want to do is I want to melt this ice. How do we go about melting this ice? Well, there's a couple of things you can do. You can pour water on it, warm water, and that would start to melt it some. We could take a paper towel or a napkin and pick up a piece of ice and hold it in our hands, and it would start to melt slowly. Maybe if we took a straw. How about that? What if we took a straw and we blew on it? You'd probably get dizzy before the ice cubes melt. But there's another thing we could do. Let me show you. You all know what that is? That's a hair dryer. We use hair dryers to dry our hair. Now, Brother Lowrie doesn't have much hair anymore, so I don't need to use a hair dryer. But my beautiful wife, she needs to use a hair dryer. But if we take this hair dryer and we plug it into the wall, wow. Look at those ice cubes melt. Man, there's water just running all off of them. Look at them melting. Look at that. The ice cubes are just melting right down to just being water. Is that amazing or what? Let me explain to you what we just did. We tried things on our own power with the straw. We tried blowing on it. We tried taking a napkin and putting an ice cube in it and trying to melt it. We tried taking some warm water, pouring it on. Nothing melted these ice cubes as fast as that hair dryer did. And just like that hair dryer, because it had power, was able to melt these ice cubes very fast, if you, boys and girls, will plug into God's power, if you will ask God to come and help you do things in his power, there's nothing that we can't do. Nothing that we can't do through Christ who gives us strength. God bless you. I look forward to getting together with you again next week, same time, same place, and we'll continue our walk together through the Bible. Have an awesome week.